American Beauty is a 1999 drama directed by Sam Mendes and written by Alan Ball. Lester is a middle-aged suburban man who hates his job. Carolyn is a real estate agent who desperately wants to be more successful as validation of her self-worth. Their daughter, Jane, is unhappy with her home life and self-image, which is not uncommon for a teenager. She is friends with Angela, a teenager who fears being ordinary so much that she flaunts her sexuality, in spite of the fact that she is secretly a virgin. Jane is dating Ricky, her marijuana-dealing neighbor. Early in the film, Lester quits his job and goes through a midlife crisis by pursuing Angela, an underage girl. Carolyn, noticing the distance between herself and her husband, cheats on Lester with another real estate agent. Ricky's father, Frank, mistakenly believes his son is having sex with Lester. This leads to Ricky and Jane plotting to run away together. Frank looks like he is about to confront Lester about his son, but actually kisses Lester, revealing his repressed homosexuality or perhaps bisexuality. In the end, Lester stops himself from having sex with Angela, but this life development is thwarted when Frank murders Lester, perhaps in hopes of removing all evidence of his sexuality. A midlife crisis has become so common in media that we can typically spot one in reality. Lester buys a new car, starts smoking weed, quits his job to work at a fast food restaurant, and most notably tries to seduce a much younger woman. In this case, a minor. Lester's actions are seen as pathetic, and in one case, potentially criminal. Women go through these motions as well. Popular media just focuses on a man's midlife crisis because compensating for lack of sex appeal and penis-shaped cars are laughable and easier to serve up as a joke. A midlife crisis is often caused by stress, and in spite of what popular media suggests, not everyone actually goes through one. There is debate on how prevalent it even is, but for Lester, he follows the classic signs. In one scene, he says that he has been in a coma for 20 years, and he just woke up. Everything he does is meant to recapture his youth. Angela, a fast food job similar to the one he had when he was young, all that. We become dissatisfied with our lives, and sometimes, rather than searching for a way to fix it, or grow, or expand to make it better, we look backwards. We time travel. We say, if only I had not done that. And then we regress, going back to a time before whatever that is, because in hindsight, life seemed so much better. Lester does not explicitly say this, but the implications are clear. Joseph Campbell, the famous writer of The Hero with a Thousand Faces and many other important works, once said, "Midlife crisis is what happens when you climb to the top of the ladder and discover it's against the wrong wall." Lester is going back down that ladder.
Are you looking to just lose weight, or do you want to have increased strength and flexibility as well? Hey, I want to look good naked.
As Lester exercises and prepares for his seduction of Angela, All Along the Watchtower by Bob Dylan plays, a song with biblical allusions and a lyrical narrative that some interpretations claim is cyclical, with two characters, the Joker and the Thief, perhaps meeting their doubles at the end, a suggestion that life is a joke. Lester singing along to American Woman by the Guess Who has a clearer implication, with the tune being a subconscious warning to himself to stay away from Angela, a vice that he eventually takes and decides against having sex with her. The color red reoccurs in the film, primarily through roses. Early in the film, Lester remarks that Carolyn spends more time with her roses than with him, instantly creating a connection between these roses and desire. Said roses are transformed into his own desire as he meets Angela. A swirl of roses always accompanies his fantasies about her, giving his sexuality a symbolic form. The roses also put us in mind of blooming. Angela is only a teenager and therefore has not truly bloomed yet. She admits to Lester that she is still a virgin and that all her previous claims of being sexually adventurous were untrue. She still wants to have sex with Lester, but confesses this in hopes that he will understand if he is disappointed by her inexperienced performance. In short, Lester is given the opportunity to deflower Angela, his rose fantasy taking on a new dimension. Lester, in his regressive state, his faux teenage resurgence, does not initially see anything wrong with being attracted to a teenager. But when she admits to being a virgin, his incredulity at this reminds him of the gulf between them, and how irresponsible and damaging it would be to take advantage of her. Lester's desire, what he wants in his life, represented by the rose, suddenly changes. Angela was the rose before, what he wanted, but in his final scene alive, he holds up a picture of his family with the roses next to it. This is his real love, his real desire. Lester says that she is the most beautiful thing he has ever seen, but that gives her no agency in her actions. A thing, an object of desire. When he sees how vulnerable she is, only then does Lester see her as a person, worthy of respect, and not someone to violate with what might be statutory rape, depending on the state.
What do you want?
Are you kidding? I want you.
Sexualizing underage girls is a terrible, unacceptable part of our culture. American Beauty calls the societal issue into question, but Angela remarks that men have been lusting after her since she was 12 years old. Back to the color red, it does not always indicate love. It is also a portent of danger. In this scene, as Lester is about to kiss Angela, the red roses are present. Not in a fantasy like before, but reality. We see them one final time as Lester looks at a picture of his family. And then, a different kind of red. The red that has been ominously foreshadowed since the beginning of the film. Carolyn's desire is quite different. She desires perfection. See here as she inspects her rose. Carefully, making sure it is absolutely perfect. When she is unable to accomplish her goal, selling a house, she is terribly upset about this because it means she is not perfect. She wants to be that rose, that perfect flower. Here in this picture, we see her wear a bright red outfit. That is how she wants to see herself. Her desire for perfection is shown again here as she sees a red sign for Buddy Kane, the most important local figure in selling real estate. Carolyn has an affair with him, but it may not have much to do with sex, and more to do with her desire to be close to perfection. Here she listens to a self-help book on tape called Me-Centered Living. Upon realizing Lester's actions and his knowledge of her affair will make her life imperfect, she plots to kill him, justifying it by saying that she will not become a victim, even though she is planning to be the perpetrator of a murder. Note also that she is wearing her red dress. She takes a lot of pride in the look of her home. The front door is not surprisingly the same color as her roses. In the dinner scene, she has roses on the table, but after she has her affair with Buddy, sex with perfection, the roses are gone and are instead on her outfit. She believes she is attaining this perfection that she has been seeking. In the end, Frank desires Lester, and so this scene is shot with a red light glowing on what Frank desires. American Beauty also gives us visual clues to another thematic element of the film, our lives as prisons. Here's Lester looking out the window of his home. It almost looks like he is caught behind bars. Then at his computer at work, we see the same visual. When he escapes in this scene to smoke weed with Ricky, we see bars again, by the door. He's getting out. It's like a jailbreak. There are many other instances of this in the film, but to sum up, this shows that we are prisoners, but only within prisons of our own making. On 2 occasions, Angela says that there is nothing worse in life than being ordinary. She wants to be special. Deep down, simply because we are all trapped in our own minds, we have no choice but to be the heroes of our own stories. We want something for ourselves, something significant. Everyone wants to be the protagonist, and nobody wants to be an extra. We assume other people are not special, especially on a superficial level. We see these suburbanites with their nice homes and boring lives, and we think they are not special. They are so milquetoast and dull. But as the sign on Lester's desk says, we need to look closer. The outside of their home is literally red, white, and blue. An alleged, typical American family. But that is only a superficial view of who they really are. How we present ourselves to the world is nothing compared to what we are inside our own minds and how we are when nobody else is watching. Carolyn's lover says that in order to be successful, one needs to present oneself as successful because that's what people see. People do not want to get involved in other people's problems. So we are perfectly content to accept the facade of someone rather than looking closer. Lester comes to realize that his mundanity, his lack of specialness, his unimportance is not a hindrance to being happy. Angela's philosophy of being ordinary as a negative is refuted. The film's central theme may be, there is beauty in everything. But Lester learns this too late.